Hello, Kubrick Glover 1972, back with another video, book collection number 9, film books again. Continuing off where book collection number 8, film left off, because I've decided I think these videos should be more like 20 minutes rather than like an hour long or 40 minutes. And I also encourage you, encourage, I don't know if that's the right word, but if you don't feel like watching some of the video, if you want to fast forward to another book, that's fine with me, so anyways, let's get back to it. Let's see, where do we go next? Okay, so we got this set of books. Okay, so this is about the making of Planet of the Apes. It's called Planet of the Apes Revisited. I haven't read this. Looks cool though. Joe Russo and Larry Landsman with Edward Gross. Forward by Charlton Heston, the behind-the-scenes story of the classic science fiction saga. So maybe it's more than just one Planet of the Apes. And I like Planet of the Apes. It's a good science fiction film. Rod Serling wrote the script for it, and it was based on a novel by, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Pierre Boulet or whatever. Might be Roddy McDowall back there as a kid. Roddy McDowall, by the way, was in a Twilight Zone episode where he lands on Mars. That's a good episode. So, I don't know. There's some text in here. There's some pictures there. I had no idea how it goes in here because I haven't read it. So I don't even know. I have Planet of the Apes on DVD, and I can't remember if there's a comment. I think there's a commentary on it, but I'm not positive about that. Here's some color pictures. And the film was directed by Franklin Schaffner, who directed Patton. Patton came out in 1970, 71, and this came out in 68 or 69. I think it was 69. This one is Godfather Legacy by Harlan Lebo. I have read this, but I can't remember. Again, if I haven't read it recently, I basically, unless for some reason, I just can't remember it that well. Well, I mean, I guess I can remember some films because I've seen them several times. And I can remember speeches or dialogue, but just a certain amount of them, not tons of them, because I would say I'd have like 1,000 movies or something, part of which are Blu-rays. Maybe 25% might be Blu-rays, but I can't remember all the speeches and words in all those films. This is Gangs New York, making the movie with a complete screenplay, introduction by Luc Sant, who I don't know who that is, but I highly recommend the DVD, or maybe the Blu-ray has it too, of Gangs New York. I remember when my mother was alive, she wasn't wild about me buying DVDs because I was, when I started buying them, like when I had like 20, 40 DVDs, she thought that was enough. But so, she thought she went with me to the theater to see Gangs New York. She thought she wouldn't like it because, she had known about the films like Taxi Driver and Raging Bull and how Scorsese is kind of a violent director. But she really liked it a lot. She liked the history behind it. And when she saw the DVD, you see it, there's a part where Martin Scorsese and Dante Ferretti, the production designer, tour the sets on Cinecittà in Rome, Italy, where Fellini used to film. And at certain points during that part of the DVD, you can hit it. This icon comes on, you can hit it, and you can do a 360 around where they're located to see what the set looks like. Also, there's a video, the history of the 5 points in Manhattan. I think it's Manhattan, New York, and then what else is there? I think there's something about the costume design and something about the vocabulary of which I didn't really watch because that's kind of minutia. That's kind of, I don't know, but anyways, and it has a video by U2 as well on it. Oh, and the commentary. My mother wasn't wild about commentaries because, people like, and I'm not wild about all commentaries. I think some of them are kind of dull. I like commentaries. I like listening to them, but some of them, I mean, like if the directors sometimes say like, "Oh, we ate here for lunch," or "This place make good sandwiches," or and I don't know if she likes all the technical stuff, which I really like hearing about. But Martin Scorsese, I think, is one of the best directors who you hear a commentary from, not just this film, but other films that he's done commentaries on, like Raging Bull, for example. Or I think he's on the Criterion for Last Temptation of Christ. The Taxi Driver DVD, I have 2 commentaries on there, but they're not, and that's my favorite Scorsese film is Taxi Driver. But they're not by Scorsese. One's by Paul Schrader, who's the screenwriter, and another one's by this professor named Kolker, who's I don't know where he teaches, but I think those commentaries were really good, and close second by Raging Bulls is my favorite Scorsese film, and close third by Last Temptation of Christ. But Raging Bull, I think, has a commentary as well by Martin Scorsese. This time I'm drinking water because I was on for 50 minutes a few days ago or so, and my voice was getting raspy, or just not good. Let's see, what's next? This one. Okay, so, I skipped a book. Okay. Before we get to that pile, we got this one. Haven't read it. The library was getting rid of it again. In Search of Gandhi by Richard Attenborough. Ben Kingsley played Gandhi in this. I think Ben Kingsley won an Oscar for this, but I can't remember. This was the same year that E.T. was nominated for an Oscar. That E.T.'s okay, but I don't know if I was wild about Gandhi, but I guess I can sort of see why it won. And it's like a typical safe bet Oscar kind of thing. Remember when Star Wars was up for a nomination, Woody Allen won for Annie Hall. And Annie Hall is, last I knew, the least highest grossing Best Picture nominee of all time. Okay, so next up we got, this is an old book. It's called From Caligari to Hitler by Siegfried Kracauer. This looks pretty cool, but I haven't read it. It's a history of German cinema. Psychological history of the German film. And, I guess, are there any pictures on the front here? No, I guess they're in the back. But some of those great German silent films are really fantastic, and the early sound ones like M. But they have some pretty good pretty good German silent movies. You know, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Metropolis. I haven't seen. I think it's right here. Yeah, the Nibelungen one by Fritz Lang. I have it on Kino, but I haven't watched it. And I know it's long. It's like 5.5 hours or something like that. I have watched his Dr. Mabuse, the Gambler, I think it's called, Kino. That was like a 4.5 hour movie. And I think it's the prototype for setting the stage for film for villains like Dr. No in the James Bond movies. And maybe it set up the stage for films like North by Northwest as well. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but you know, it set up the master criminal. You know, Dr. Mabuse, the Gambler, and then he made Dr. Mabuse, the Testament of Dr. Mabuse. I'm sorry, I think the same actor played Dr. Mabuse in that particular movie, and that's like an early. Oh wait, wait a minute. Where's my hand? That's M right there. I think the Testament of Dr. Mabuse was an early prediction of Nazis, and Mabuse was sort of a projection of Hitler. And I think I got one more page here to go. So, okay, next up we got this movie's I wasn't wild about, but you know, he sort of, Oliver Stone is kind of obsessed with the 60s and the early 70s, and anyways, it's Nixon Oliver Stone film. It's got the screenplay, Watergate documents, transcripts, essays by John Dean, E. Howard Hunt, Daniel Score, and others. I'm going to say something, I don't know if it's controversial, but Nixon's kind of interesting president because I know he like bombed the hell out of Vietnam and Cambodia, but he was trying to reach some sort of peace, and he established arms talks with China and Russia. I think he's one of the presidents that helped end the Cold War, at least with Russia. But part of that credit has to go to Kissinger. I'm not an expert on Nixon or Kissinger. He also did something kind of unusual for a president, the Republican, which was compared to these days, which is he signed the Clean Air Act. But I don't know tons about politics, you know. I mean, I listen, in the past, I've listened to books on CD in my car, and one of them was a book called Nixon and Kissinger. I mean, he wasn't the nicest guy, Nixon, and he wasn't very personable, but he was intelligent. You know, he was an interesting figure in American history. You know, so I guess it's just mostly script and essays and stuff like that in there. President Nixon on the cabinet there. Next up, film and anthology edited by Daniel Talbot, a diverse collection of outstanding writing on the film. And again, yeah, no pictures. Next, we have a book on Joel and Ethan Coen. It's an earlier book, I suppose, and right now it's got The Big Lebowski, Barton and Fig, Miller's Crossing. I think Miller's Crossing we have a copy of at the library where I work. I should take that out. Hudsucker Proxy, I haven't seen that, but I think I can get that at my library or the other library where I live. Raising Arizona and Barton and Fink, I wasn't wild about either of those two films. Fargo, Blood Simple, great films. But, yeah. And it's just essays, or I don't know if it's essay. It's just text. Next up, Yeah, 5 more minutes on this video. That's what I'm gonna make it. James Matron, The Making of Memento. Someone said on a stream, I think it was on Sasha's stream, I ain't got time to bleed, when I was in the chat, that Memento might be Christopher Nolan's best film, and that might be, I might agree with that. I think that might be the case. Not that he hasn't made some other good movies, but yeah, that I probably agree with. Next up, it's about The Making of Malcolm X by Spike Lee. By Any Means Necessary: The Trials and Tribulations of the Making of Malcolm X, including the screenplay, by Spike Lee, with Ralph Wiley. Introduction by Terry McMillan. And there's some pictures in here. I think they're in the middle. Wait a minute. Oh, there's some pictures on the back there too. Let's see what we got here. It's a picture of Spike Lee there, I think. And then we got, I think that's Spike Lee at the camera there, dressed up as Shorty, with Ernest Dickerson, who was a cinematographer for this movie. I think he's done some other Spike Lee movies as well. I like this movie. I have it. I like Do the Right Thing as well. Sort of focus on the same topic, racism, but like Do the Right Thing is in a smaller context, and Malcolm X is on an epic context. And I think Denzel Washington should have won the Oscar that year for Malcolm X, but of course it didn't happen. This is Getting Into Film by Mel London. I don't know. Maybe this book is antiquated by now. This is like late 80s when I got this. I think I asked my father for this. And yeah, so, I mean, today, with the internet and festivals everywhere and courses and workshops everywhere and equipment so cheap, I don't know if this really is the most relevant book anymore. I don't know. Let's see. What can we do now? Maybe we can... Yeah, I think I can do 3 more books here. Okay, so next book up, called Spellbound by Beauty. Alfred Hitchcock and His Leading Ladies by Donald Spoto. Best-selling author, Dark Side of Genius, The Life of Alfred Hitchcock. I have some other books on Hitchcock, like Hitchcock Truffaut. I'll show that when I get there. I have another book on Hitchcock I'd really like to read. I can't remember the title of it, but it's huge. It's like 500 pages. I wanted to... We have a copy at the library, but I thought it'd take me too long, even though I don't have to pay fines on my books. But I really wanted to get it, and I bought it cheap off of Amazon. And I think the author's name is McGilligan or something. But on the front of the front picture is Alfred Hitchcock with like a raven or something like that. So, but you see on this particular book, Spellbound by Beauty, he's there with Tippi Hedren. I don't know if there's pictures in here. Yes, there are some pictures. Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock with his wife. Yes, here's some of the older Hitchcock leading ladies, older Hitchcock films. And progressing upwards to later periods of his movies. My library has, where I work, I looked online today. I looked to see how many Hitchcock films they have on DVD. They don't carry Blu-rays with the library where I work. They do carry them at the library where I live, in the place that I live. But anyways, I looked on my library where I work's catalog, and I saw that some of the films that they have in their collection I have too, and I've seen, but there's like 5 of them I have not seen, and I should make an effort to try and see those films. Maybe 2 more books, and then that's the end of the video. This is probably way antiquated. You can tell by the look of the cover. Electronic Movie Making by Lynn S. Gross and Larry W. Ward. You can see the camera's just outdated. So, you know, I think even with books on filmmaking that talk about old technology, some of the aesthetic aspects of making movies are still relevant. But anyways, and last up, and I don't know if I could show pictures of this. I'm going to have to look before I show. And it's called The 50 Most Erotic Films of All Time by Maitland McDonald. I think this is a friend of mine. He moved away. I don't think he minds. I still have it. I think it's his book. And I asked to borrow it, and I never returned it, I think. But you can see that it's Basic Instinct on the back. And I don't know what that movie is. It looks like Louise Brooks from the silent era. I don't think I can show pictures in this. There are pictures that are not, you know, that are more acceptable, but you know, I might slip on a page and show you something that there is some nudity in here. So, and I don't want to incur the wrath, if you will, of YouTube by, you know, breaking one of their rules. Okay, that's the end of the video. Back with book collection number 10. We'll see if I can finish it off. If not, there'll be a book collection number 11, and that should finish it off. I'm trying to get through these books as fast as possible while showing you them and articulating about them. So anyways, that's the end of the video. I'll see you soon in the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.